Yo, listen up. You ever get that feeling like you missed the bus on something huge? Like you saw Solana when it was dirt cheap, or Polygon before it even had hype, and you were like, nah, I'll wait. Then boom, it's flying to the moon, and you're just sitting there like, damn, that could have been me. Well, don't blink this time, because there's one project that's sneaking under everyone's radar while the crowd's too busy staring at Bitcoin and Ethereum charts. I'm talking about ASTER, the coin that's building something real while the rest of the market's chasing noise. See, every bull run has that one coin nobody talks about until it's too late. Remember Solana in 2020? Nobody cared until it ran 100x. Polygon? Same story. ASTER shaping up to be that next ghost rocket, the one insiders are already loading up on before the mainstream even wakes up. And here's the crazy part. This ain't no meme coin pump and dump. This thing's got real tech, real use cases, and a roadmap that's actually being delivered. But the wildest part? Hardly anyone's paying attention. Now, I know you're thinking, why ASTER? Why now? Let's be real. The crypto space is full of hype and empty promises. Every project says it's the next big thing. But when you strip away the noise, there are only a handful of Layer 1 networks actually solving something meaningful. ASTER is one of them. It's not just building another chain, it's connecting chains. It's like the bridge between ecosystems that were never meant to talk to each other. While everyone's still arguing over whether Ethereum can handle scaling or if Solana can stay online for a week straight, ASTER's quietly solving interoperability on a level most people don't even understand yet. It's built on Polkadot, which means it can communicate across multiple blockchains seamlessly. In simple terms, imagine you playing on 5 different game consoles, and ASTER lets you move your character between all of them without restarting. That's how game-changing this is. But here's where it gets interesting. The market hasn't priced this in yet. The whales know it, though. You can literally see it in the wallet data. Big money's been quietly accumulating, stacking ASTER like it's a secret weapon for the next bull run. No hype tweets, no influencer shills, just quiet accumulation. And that's exactly how it starts every single time. By the time retail investors notice it, it's already up 5x and they're FOMOing in at the top. And that's why you can't sleep on this one, because the opportunity window, it's closing faster than people realize. Every time Bitcoin stabilizes and liquidity flows back into altcoins, projects with real fundamentals take the spotlight. ASTER's sitting in that perfect position, undervalued, underhyped, but fundamentally solid. And once that narrative catches fire on crypto Twitter or TikTok, you already know what happens next. The herd rushes in. Now, I'm not saying this thing's going to moon overnight. Nothing real ever does. But what I am saying is that ASTER's setup feels like deja vu. The same kind of calm before the storm vibe that every major altcoin had before it exploded. You can see the same patterns, the early whale entries, the quiet developer updates, the community slowly growing but not going viral yet. That's where the smart money plays. Not when it's trending, when it's quiet. You ever notice how the biggest winners in crypto don't come from the loud coins? They come from the ones that feel boring right before they pop off. And ASTER is exactly in that phase. It's got a live ecosystem, staking, partnerships, and a tech foundation that makes sense for 2025 and beyond. This ain't hype, this is early. And early is where the money is made. So ask yourself, do you want to be the one saying, I saw it first, or the one saying, I wish I bought it when it was still cheap? Because the next few months might decide that. ASTER's chart is showing consolidation. That's accumulation territory. It's not glamorous, it's not flashy, but it's where every breakout story begins. And here's the real talk. When retail finally wakes up to what ASTER's doing, you won't even have to chase it. It'll already be gone. That's the difference between watching opportunity and catching it. So yeah, maybe this isn't the coin everyone's hyping today, but that's exactly why you should pay attention. Because by the time it's trending on X or hitting mainstream YouTube, the insiders, the ones loading up right now, will already be cashing out. If you've ever said to yourself, man, I wish I could go back and buy Solana before it popped, this might be your second chance. Except this time you already know the playbook. Don't wait for confirmation, don't wait for headlines. This is where conviction pays off. But hold up, before you start throwing money at the chart, you need to understand why ASTER's fundamentals make it different from all those hype coins that come and go. Because when a project solves a real-world problem, the money always follows. And that's exactly what we're about to break down next. what makes ASTER truly different from the rest, and why it could be the dark horse of the next bull run. All right, here's the real deal. Every damn coin in this space screams innovation, but 9 times out of 10, it's just recycled hype wrapped in new marketing. ASTER ain't that. This one's actually building something insane. Real tech, real solutions, real long-term value. While most projects are busy promising the future of Web3, ASTER's out here quietly creating it. And that's the part people are sleeping on. Let's keep it a buck. The crypto world's full of noise. Every week there's a new Ethereum killer or next-gen blockchain. But when the bear market hits, most of those so-called killers disappear faster than your portfolio after a rug pull. The truth is, only the projects solving real problems survive. And ASTER is doing exactly that. It's not just another chain chasing clout, it's bridging a gap that's been holding Web3 back for years. Think about it. The blockchain world's broken into islands. Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Polkadot, Solana. They all run their own show, but they don't talk to each other. It's like having iPhones, Androids, and Windows phones that can't text one another. That's the biggest pain point in crypto, fragmentation. And ASTER? It's the bridge that connects those islands. ASTER runs on Polkadot's parachain system, which means it's not only scalable, it's built to connect every other blockchain in one ecosystem. Multi-chain smart contracts, seamless communication, cross-chain dApps, this is the stuff every dev and investor has been waiting for. Imagine being able to run a smart contract that interacts with multiple networks at once without leaving the ASTER ecosystem. That's not hype, that's the next level of interoperability. And the crazy part? ASTER's not just talking about it, it's already doing it. Projects are migrating there because the tools are live, the dev support is real, and transaction speeds are wild compared to what we've been used to. The whole point of crypto was freedom, but until now, every chain has been trapped in its own little world. ASTER's breaking those walls down. It's like finally unlocking multiplayer mode in a game that used to be single-player only. Now let's talk logic, emotional logic. We've seen too many game changers vanish overnight. Remember Luna? Remember all those metaverse coins that promised the world? They had hype, but no core value. ASTER is not trying to sell dreams. It's fixing the architecture of Web3. When hype coins fade, infrastructure projects thrive. They're the ones that every bull run builds on. Look at Ethereum. It exploded because it was the foundation for everything else. ASTER is in that same lane, just more evolved. And here's where the FOMO starts to creep in, because if you understand how early we still are, you realize how wild the upside can be. The market hasn't even woken up to this narrative yet. When interoperability becomes the main theme of the next bull run, ASTER is going to be front and center. Because while the big names are still fighting scalability wars, ASTER's already solved a different war, the one about connection. You can almost feel it brewing. The tech's ready, the partnerships are stacking, and the ecosystem is slowly gaining traction. It's like watching a fuse burn in slow motion. You know the explosion's coming, you just don't know when. And that's what makes this phase so powerful. Most retail investors are too focused on price. They're not looking at utility. The whales? They know utility drives price later, and ASTER is building pure utility. But let's not sugarcoat it. This space doesn't reward patience. It rewards conviction. The smart players get in when nobody's cheering, when it's quiet. That's where we are with ASTER right now. You can almost hear the silence before the storm. The community's small but dedicated, the dev activity's high, and the narrative hasn't even gone mainstream yet. That's the perfect setup for asymmetric gains. And yeah, maybe right now it doesn't have the buzzwords or the influencer hype, but that's good, because once this thing goes viral, that quiet entry window, gone. Remember when people laughed at Solana in early 2020, calling it just another chain? Or when Polygon was trading under 10 cents and everyone thought it was too complex? History repeats itself. The underdog becomes the giant, and ASTER fits that underdog pattern perfectly. See, when a project actually solves something the market needs, money always finds its way there. It doesn't matter if it's loud or not. The real investors, the smart capital, are already circling it. You don't need to be a genius to spot a pattern that's repeated over and over and over in crypto. Innovation, silence, accumulation, explosion. ASTER is sitting right in that accumulation zone right now. And that's where the story gets spicy, because when you connect strong fundamentals with early adoption, the price doesn't just move, it shifts levels. The market goes from ignoring it to obsessing over it in weeks, and when that wave hits, it's unstoppable. So yeah, forget the empty slogans and overhyped coins. ASTER isn't hype, it's tech. It's the backbone of what multi-chain crypto should have been years ago. And once this narrative hits mainstream attention, the question won't be what's ASTER, it'll be how the hell did I miss this? But here's the kicker, because when a project solves a real-world problem like this, the money always follows. And if you think the big wallets haven't noticed yet, you're wrong, because next, I'm going to show you exactly where that money is already moving, and trust me, you'll want to see this part before you even think about buying in.
All right, listen up, because this is where things start to get crazy. You ever notice how the market moves before the news drops? Yeah, that's not a coincidence. That's the whales, the silent killers of the crypto world. And guess what? They've been loading up on ASTER while the rest of the crowd is still sleeping on it. No hype, no noise, just quiet accumulation. That's how the real money moves. Here's the wild part. When you check the on-chain data, you'll see massive wallet movements that don't belong to your average trader. These are deep-pocketed players, probably institutions or early VCs, stacking ASTER while retail is distracted by shiny meme coins. They know something we don't, or better yet, they know something we're about to find out too late. Every time this pattern shows up, a monster rally follows. It's like watching sharks circle before they strike. Remember what happened with Solana? Same story. Months before it hit mainstream, whale wallets were already quietly filling up. No one was talking about it. No influencer was calling it out. Then boom, 10x, 20x, 50x. History doesn't repeat, but damn, it sure rhymes. And right now, ASTER's chart is whispering the same kind of energy. You can literally see it in the order books. Strong buy walls, consistent accumulation zones, and sudden bursts of volume at odd hours when retail sleeps. That's not coincidence. That's strategy. These whales don't buy at the top. They create the bottom. They build the floor before anyone realizes it's even there. And here's where it gets even more emotional. Most people won't see this until it's too late. They'll wait for some influencer or news headline to confirm what's already obvious on-chain. But by the time they jump in, the whales are already unloading on them. That's the brutal truth of crypto. Smart money doesn't chase pumps, it builds them. Now ask yourself this, why would big money accumulate ASTER quietly when there are hundreds of coins out there? It's because ASTER isn't just another token. It's a bridge between blockchains, a real utility project sitting right at the heart of Web3 interoperability. These whales aren't just betting on hype, they're betting on infrastructure. They're buying into the future foundation of crypto communication, where every chain talks to every chain. That's not narrative fluff, that's a technical revolution. Look, I get it. Everyone says follow the money, but few actually do it right. Most people look at charts. Whales look at liquidity flow. They're not reacting to tweets, they're reading the blockchain like a map. And right now, that map points straight to ASTER. You can feel the tension building. It's quiet, too quiet. That's usually the calm before the breakout. And when the breakout happens, the FOMO gets real. That's when you'll see social media explode, when influencers start dropping videos with ASTER 100x in the title. But you'll know, you were early. You saw the movement before the noise. Because in this game, timing is everything. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room, you just need to move before the crowd does. The whales have already shown their hand. The question is, do you have the guts to follow them before everyone else wakes up? And before you even think about aping in, let's slow it down and talk about the part that really decides how far this rocket can fly. The numbers, the price zones, and the predictions that could turn this quiet accumulation into the next big run. This next part is where we separate hope from strategy. So stick around because the math's about to get real. Let's keep it 100. Nobody can guarantee where the price goes next, but patterns, man, they don't lie. Charts speak before headlines do, and right now, ASTER's chart is whispering something wild. You can feel it, that quiet energy before a move. The same tension we saw before Solana and Avalanche went parabolic. The setup is there, it's just waiting for that spark. Let's break this down like real traders do, not moon boys. First off, the support zone. That's where the whales reload. ASTER's been building a rock-solid base around the lower levels. Every time it dips, volume spikes. That's not retail panic, that's smart money accumulating. It's like a coiled spring. The tighter it gets, the harder it's going to snap. Then we've got the resistance, those psychological walls where weak hands fold and strong hands double down. ASTER's chart has tested this zone multiple times, and every retest gets weaker. You know what that means? Pressure's building. Once it breaks that ceiling, it's game over for the bears. We're talking breakout city. Now let's throw some Fibonacci magic into the mix. You pull the fib from the last swing low to the last high, and boom, you'll see how these golden ratios line up perfectly with real human behavior. It's crazy how math predicts emotion in this market. Around that 0.618 level, that's the golden pocket, where legends are born and 100x stories start. ASTER's been hovering near that zone, just waiting for confirmation. Short term? I'm seeing that next leg potentially pushing up to reclaim the previous highs, a clean 25 to 40% rally window if momentum stays intact. Midterm, once it breaks that psychological resistance and flips it to support, we're eyeing a 2x to 3x zone. Realistic, not hopium. The liquidity and volume depth support that. And long-term, 2025, that's where it gets spicy. If ASTER's interoperability narrative keeps gaining traction, if they keep locking in partnerships inside the Polkadot and Web3 ecosystem, then this project could easily stretch beyond the $1.50 to $2 range from its current zone. That's not a fantasy. That's a conservative upside based on actual on-chain growth metrics. But here's where the FOMO kicks in. If ASTER even touches half of these targets, it's still going to outperform 90% of this market. Why? Because most coins out there are riding hype waves with zero fundamentals. ASTER's not chasing clout, it's building infrastructure. Real utility always wins in the long run. Now emotionally, think about this. Every bull run, there's that one coin people regret not buying when it was quiet. Remember the guys who ignored Solana at $3? Or the ones who said Chainlink was boring before it hit double digits? Same vibe here. It's not about luck, it's about recognizing the calm before the storm. That's where the wealth is made, not in the FOMO candle, but in the silence before it. And if you zoom out, literally pull the chart back, the long-term trend looks like a staircase forming. Consolidation, breakout, retest, then explosion. Every time it follows that rhythm, the next step is higher than the last. That's not speculation, that's structure. The market rewards patience, disguised as boredom. But don't get it twisted. Prediction alone doesn't make millionaires. You could call every target perfectly and still end up broke if your timing and mindset aren't right. That's what separates traders from legends. You've got to know when to enter, when to sit still, and when to take profit like a pro. Because no one goes broke taking profit. They go broke waiting for just one more pump. So yeah, keep your eyes on those key zones, but don't marry your bags. Play the market like chess, not roulette. The move is brewing, and when it happens, it'll be too fast for second guesses. And before you start setting your buy orders, we gotta talk about the real secret weapon behind every successful trader. It's not just what you buy, it's how you think when the market starts moving. Because mindset beats prediction every single time. Let's break down that strategy, the part where millionaires are actually made, not imagined.
Real talk. The biggest mistake people make? They buy hype and sell fear. Every single bull run, the same story repeats. People FOMO in when the chart's glowing green, and they panic dump the moment it breathes red. That's not trading, that's emotion running your wallet. Timing ain't luck, it's straight up patience. The difference between catching the wave and getting drowned by it is knowing when to move and when to chill. Let's keep it a buck. The best traders don't chase green candles. They hunt for red ones. They wait for that dip when everyone's crying in the comments, "It's over!" That's when the real players load up. See, the entry zone isn't just about price, it's about mindset. You've got to train your emotions to go against the crowd, because the crowd's usually broke. Let's talk entries. You don't need to drop your whole bag in one go. That's rookie stuff. You DCA, dollar cost average. You split your position, you layer it like a pro. If ASTER's chillin' at 0.12 and you think it's got legs, don't ape in at once. You buy some at 0.12, then more if it dips to 0.10, and you hold dry powder for that golden re-entry at 0.08 if the market gives it. That's how you win. Patience over panic, discipline over hype. Because when that reversal hits, you're not stressing, you're not hoping, you're ready. You planned for it. That's what separates conviction from luck. Conviction is when you understand why you're in a project. You know the tech, the roadmap, the tokenomics, and the narrative. So when it dips, you don't flinch, you accumulate. If you don't have conviction, the market will eat you alive, no mercy. And emotion kills more portfolios than bad calls ever will. People forget, the market isn't just a chart, it's a mirror. It reflects your patience, your greed, your fear. You can't outsmart the chart if you can't control yourself. Every green candle triggers greed. Every red one triggers doubt. That's why the best traders talk more about psychology than indicators. Let's get real. The goal isn't to time the top or bottom perfectly. That's a fantasy. The goal is to build position while others are sleeping. You DCA your way in when the noise dies down, you ignore the influencers screaming "moon," and you trust your plan. That's how generational wealth gets built quietly, while everyone else is waiting for a tweet to tell them what's next. Here's the emotional truth. This game rewards the ones who stay calm when others panic. Think back to every 100x coin. The biggest winners weren't the ones who bought the breakout. They were the ones who believed in silence. They saw the dip not as danger, but as a discount. You can't fake that kind of patience. You either have it or you learn it the hard way. You ever notice how whales move? They don't tweet, they don't hype. They just accumulate slowly when nobody's watching. They let retail fight over scraps during the pumps. That's the level of discipline you need. You don't chase, you stalk. You plan your entries like a sniper, not a gambler. And let's not forget, sometimes the best entry is no entry. If a chart's overextended, if sentiment's too euphoric, sit out. Cash is a position too. Waiting isn't weakness, it's your strongest weapon. Because when that next pullback hits, you're not stuck, you're ready to strike. Think about this. If you DCA'd Solana under $3 or Matic under $0.10, every dip felt scary, but every dip was an opportunity. That's the game ASTER might be playing right now. People sleeping on it today will be the same ones crying tomorrow when it breaks new highs. You decide which side of that story you want to be on. So remember, don't chase green candles, chase good entries. The market doesn't reward speed, it rewards strategy. Be the one who plans when others panic, who builds when others doubt, and who takes profit when others finally notice. Because patience doesn't just pay, it multiplies. But wait, before you drop a single dollar into ASTER or anything else, there's something way more important you need to know. The stuff most people ignore until it's too late. The risks, the traps, the hidden dangers that can wipe out even smart traders if they're not prepared. Let's talk about that, because understanding risk is how you actually stay rich once you win.
Don't get it twisted. ASTER's potential is massive, but no project's bulletproof. I don't care how bullish the chart looks or how hyped the community sounds. The market can humble anyone, anytime. And if you've been around long enough, you already know that crypto doesn't care about your feelings, your research, or your dreams. It only respects risk management. That's the real game. Let's keep it real for a second. ASTER might have insane upside, but it's still a volatile asset in a wild market. One tweet, one regulation headline, or one exchange delisting can send prices spiraling in minutes. That's not fear, that's reality. You can't just look at the potential gains without accepting the potential pain. Every candle that goes up fast can drop faster. And that's exactly why smart traders respect the downside as much as they chase the upside. Volatility isn't the enemy, it's the price of entry for opportunity. The trick is to use it, not get wrecked by it. That means never over-leveraging, never going all in on emotion, and always knowing your exit before your entry. Because if you can't manage risk, you don't deserve reward. It's that simple. And yo, let's talk regulation. This is the sleeper threat everyone ignores until it's too late. Governments are still figuring out how to cage crypto, and projects like ASTER, especially with their cross-chain decentralized networks, could easily get caught in that crossfire. We've seen it before. Projects exploding with hype one month, then struggling under policy pressure the next. So stay sharp, stay informed, and never assume the rules will stay the same. Then there's liquidity, another silent killer. You might think you're sitting on profits until you realize you can't exit without tanking the price. Liquidity traps catch even seasoned traders when volume dries up. Always keep an eye on order books, on exchange listings, on real trading activity, not just Twitter noise. And while we're keeping it a buck, you gotta protect your own mind too, because this game is emotional warfare. You'll doubt yourself when the chart dips and get overconfident when it pumps. The key? Balance. You win when you stay grounded. You lose when you chase validation instead of value. This isn't financial advice, it's financial awareness, the kind that most people ignore until it costs them everything. You're not here to gamble, you're here to grow. So treat your capital like your time. Protect it, respect it, and make every move intentional. Because when you trade with awareness, you stop reacting and start controlling. That's where real power begins. And let me hit you with some emotional truth before we wrap. Every bull run, there's that one coin that changes lives. Maybe it's ASTER, maybe it's not. But what really matters is how you play the hand you've got. You could turn $500 into freedom, or watch it vanish trying to time perfection. The market rewards conviction wrapped in caution, not greed disguised as courage. If this video hit you, smash that like, drop your ASTER price target down in the comments, and let's see who's got the vision before it actually pops. Because I'm watching too, not from hype, but from strategy. And if you're still here at this point, you're not just chasing the next 100x, you're trying to understand why it happens. That's what separates the thinkers from the followers. But yo, don't go anywhere, because next week, I'm dropping something that might just blow your mind. I'm exposing 3 coins insiders are quietly loading before the 2025 bull run even starts. No hype, no clickbait, just straight insider movement, early signals, and projects flying under retail's radar. You don't want to miss that drop, trust me. So stay tuned, stay locked in, and remember, the market doesn't reward the loudest, it rewards the most prepared. See you in the next one.